you want running the show next year? Cade Cunningham or Jaden Ivey? I had tweeted out that I can't wait to see Jaden Ivey play off of Cade Cunningham. And I had someone comment like, dude, you should edit this, but I'm too cheap to edit on Twitter, so I will not. But what about you guys? Who do you want running the show as point guard? Now, I know it's positionless basketball. You need like multiple ball handlers on the floor, but I'm looking at it as like a 60-40 split. Who's the 60? Who's the 40 in running the show next year?
I feel like it's going to be Cade. Because he's the point guard. It is, it's been christened to be his team, but also when Cade comes off the floor, you can keep Ivy on, and vice versa, and you get into what the Warriors do. Even though Clay's more of an off-ball guy, different type of offense, different set of plays, different threat of player you have to adjust to, and that's what's going to really make them deadly. Is yes, it's going to be Cade's team, quote unquote, but you're going to have two different brands of basketball you can play when either one of them decides to get a break.
What about you, Anthony? Who runs the show?
It's just tough. It's really tough. I know I got a lot of hate for it when Jaden Ivey got drafted. I told you I see him more as a point guard, right?
Okay.
Everyone's saying, he's a shooting guard. Even Jaden said he's a shooting guard. But I think what we saw is he really flourished as a lead guard. He flourished as a guy that, ran the show. But you also have Cade Cunningham, who's just as good as passer as Jaden Ivey. This is tough for me, but I think I'm going to agree with Mike. I think it's going to be Cade, but I think you're going to see a lot more off-ball movement from Jaden Ivey. I'm not going to say he's going to be like a Reggie Miller or Richard Hamilton, but if you go back and watch some of his Purdue tape, he was running off screens exclusively, and we did not see any of that this season. If that's in his package and that's in his game, I think I would rather have Cade be the point guard and Jaden be the shooting guard just because, obviously, you got two guys that can score 20, give you 7 assists a night. But I think I feel more comfortable with the ball in Cade Cunningham's hands.
No, I agree with both of you. I think Cade's running the show. I think both of their games mesh together, but the improvement as a spot-up shooter from Jaden Ivey, it makes more sense for Cade to kick out to him than Jaden Ivey to drive and kick out to Cade because Cade has not shown the consistency to shoot at a high percentage from three-point land. Like, we just don't see it from him yet. But also, I feel like even though Jaden Ivey has made strides as a lead guard in Detroit, I mean, he's looked great. I still think he forces the issue a little too much, and I think some of it's a little rough. It almost reminds me of Russell Westbrook. Like, yeah, he's going to, like, even though Jaden Ivey was averaging 7 assists, I believe, I forget what month it was, like some little stretch right there, I felt like 4 to 5 of those assists were within the flow of the offense, and the other couple of assists were just forced. Like, I have the ball, I'm going to make a play, even though it's not pretty, I'm still going to get it to my guy. And also, I just think with Cade playing and Jaden Ivey playing off of him, since he developed as a spot-up shooter, now teams are afraid of that skill set. So he has the athleticism to beat guys to the rim and beat guys at the rim, whether it's going up, over them, or through them. Jaden Ivey has that ability and land at the free throw line. I just think his game is so much better playing off of Cade because he's just a much better athlete, and he's a north and south runner. Like, that's his strength, like just going downhill. And Cade is just slow, methodical, kind of like Chris Paul a little bit, where, even though he may not be the athlete, the gravity, the defenses are always paying attention to Cade. I just feel like they weren't really doing that with Jaden Ivey when he was running the show.
And you brought up a great point, Lance, too. Now that you have a spot up, the spot up shooting that we can see from him, you're getting a guy who Cade can say they just run a set play. They come out, Jaden can get kicked open too in the corner, but that could set up a second play, which could come off a third play, which could come off a fourth. You can't defend that after a while. You're going to break teams down. The Celtics do it. The Warriors do it. All the elite teams are able to do that. Even the Nuggets do some sort of a way of it with Jamal Murray and Jokic, even though they're two completely different positions. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, and it's just like, I feel like Jaden Ivey, like Cade Cunningham's playmaking ability is like, it's like a savant of basketball. It does remind me of Chris Paul. It's just like, it's slow, methodical, but like he sees 2 steps ahead of everybody else. And with Jaden Ivey, that playmaking ability is more secondary. Like, he's more of a scorer. He's more of a guy looking for his shot and getting to the rim and just trying to attack and just go through people. Like, That's what I love about his game. So,
Yes.
I mean, like, he is a good playmaker, but I just think it's a secondary skill from him. And
Mhm.
plus, what I want to see from Jaden Ivey, and maybe you guys can agree with me or not, I want to see him be an elite two-way player, which I think he can be. But if he's running the show and expending that energy, we're not going to get that defensive player, that defense ability from him game in and game out. And I think Jaden Ivey is way more valuable as an elite two-way player than just a elite guard for the Pistons.
Yes.